Let's get into the arduous task of changing the oil on the Lotus Emira. For context, this is the V6 supercharged manual version. Total time 30 minutes, difficulty level 3, only because you do have to remove the flat floor, the rear diffuser, and it does require a special tool to get the job done. First order of business, you're going to need 6 quarts of 0W40 synthetic oil of your choosing. I went with 5W40 Mobil 1 Euro spec oil, mostly because I wanted heavier weight for the hot climate that I'm in and the track duty this car sees, as well as Mobil 1 being the only local supply of that weight of oil. You'll need 1 oil filter. If you want a factory Toyota filter, the part number is 04152-YZZA1. I was lucky enough to pick up this oil filter at the local O'Reilly's auto store. I did not have to go to the dealership. You're going to need a 3/8 ratchet or drill, a 14mm socket, a 10mm socket, a 7mm socket, a 4mm Allen wrench or socket, and the fun part, a 64mm 14 flute oil filter wrench. I was also lucky enough to pick this up at a local advanced auto parts store. However, you can order these all over the internet. If you're anything like me, be sure to pick up a large drain pan and lots of paper towels. Let's get into it.
All right, let's first get these plastic covers off. I've already popped them loose. They don't just sit that loose all of the time. And then we are going to come in here and remove the oil cap, which you'll see right here on the right-hand side. Wonder if this, no, that doesn't say the weight and everything like some do. I'm gonna leave it sitting on top just so dirt and debris doesn't fall into the hole. But now that that's loose, let's raise the car up. And then we'll get to taking the lower let her hook in. And then let's see if we can start removing this under tray for the oil drain. Okay, so unfortunately, to drain the oil, we're gonna have to remove the rear diffuser as well as the rear belly pan here. I don't know why they wouldn't put an access port, but you know, that's just me, or access panel. So the majority, if not all of these Allen bolts, I know there's 6 on the back and I believe you have to remove 2 in the middle, are 4mm Allen heads.
Do not, I repeat, do not take out these middle 4mm Allen head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 bolts. Because then that bar comes completely loose and it's just annoying. And I take them off every single time I take the car apart. Don't do it. Don't do what I do.
The rest of these bolts are going to be 10mm, and I'll count how many there are here. You can see I've already started removing them from the access panel, hoping that I could slide it out if I flexed the diffuser. Unfortunately, that's not possible. So we're going to remove the diffuser and go from there. Nice, that one's stripped. Gotta love that. I know one of these does not have to come off. I feel like it's the 2 outside ones that can stay. Let's just remove them all. There she goes. Woo! Rock shower. Rock shower. Yeah. Of course, it's the stripped one that remains. All right, let's see if we can get that with something else for not have to cut it. I don't know if you can see, but it's this pesky Allen head right here that's stripped out. This is not an infrequent occurrence in my life, unfortunately. probably because I'm using power tools half the time. Actually, it's definitely because I'm using power tools half the time. What I typically have to do in these scenarios, if I can't get a Torx bit to jam up in here to gripper, is I cut a groove in there and then use a flathead screwdriver to just twist it off. Because of it being recessed in a plastic diffuser, I don't love that idea because I might accidentally cut the diffuser. I'm going to see if I can get a pair of vice grips on it. Yeah, not a chance our vice grip's going to have enough room to hook onto that. Plan B, so I can either cut it and remove it via a flathead screwdriver. I can obviously order the proper tools to grip that and remove it. Or, I mean, the diffuser's low enough now that I should be able to slide out that under tray with that bolt still in. Deal with the strip bolt at a later date. I feel like that's the move to make here. You can see how low that's hanging. And if I remove that last bolt holding in the under tray, I should still be able to slide that out. So let's do that for now, and then we'll tackle the strip bolt at another time. Where did I put my other socket? I spend more time looking for tools than I do working on the car. No, seriously. There it is. All right. Use the old head catch, you know? All right. So in the future, I don't know. I don't know if you necessarily need to remove that whole panel if you're okay with it just kind of sagging. Pretty cut and dry. Have a 14 millimeter drain plug here. No big deal. And then we're gonna have a oil filter housing that has to be removed. This hole allows for a 3/8 ratchet to plug into it, and you can remove this lower cap on the inside here to drain the oil out of what's sitting in the filter before removing the whole cover and replacing the filter altogether. Due to the nature of this, I couldn't get anything up around it to turn, and I was hesitant to really pry or push on these fins in case this cracked. Luckily, I was able to pick up the 64 millimeter 14 flute oil filter wrench. This one actually has grooves from an Advanced Auto, not too far away, obviously around town, around the corner. That'll help me pull that off. But when you get under here, you will need something to remove this cover because it is one of those cartridge filters. So that's probably the biggest curveball that I didn't expect. The other thing I wanted to highlight, if I can find it, guess where this puppy was sitting? Does that look familiar? It's the protective cover above the engine where you can pull your dipstick. That was sitting right there. So somehow these are able to fall through on the top if they're not secured correctly. Again, I'm not sure how, otherwise I wouldn't have allowed it to fall through, but it did. In the past, I have smelled a little bit of what honestly smelled like melt or burning plastic, and here's the answer why. That's why I assumed that it was somewhere up in this engine bay or had fallen down to the lower under tray. So that's exactly what happened. So let's get this off. I've already drained the oil pan itself. We'll replace this filter and then fill her back up. Going 1/2 inch here. Don't know how much of a mess this is about to make either. Probably a lot based on my track record. What are the odds this goes cleanly? Nil? All right, let's see. Can I do it by hand? Yes. So even after draining that, it still had quite a bit of oil. So I don't know, maybe the plug doesn't drain everything in its entirety. Not sure. But we'll get that changed out and go from there. Changing the oil on a Lotus Emira. What not to do. Now where's my filter? Let's see what we're working with. Let's see. Let's see. I've used cartridge filters on other vehicles, but not with all of these, like, what is that? What is that? Nobody knows.
You're going to take this guy and you're going to put it in here. It's kind of hard. You got to push it in kind of hard, and it's going to drain out the canister. That will drain it out so when you take the whole canister off, oil doesn't get everywhere.
Say what?
Couple seals. That's probably for the lower ring, which I've already taken out. I assume that's for an upper. Good stuff. So if you look at, ooh, shit, juicy. If you look at these two filters, this one has all kinds of, well, looks like twist damage or issues from twisting. Maybe that was just me pulling it off, where these fins are straight up. I don't know what that's all about either. So we're just gonna replace the filter. It seems to be the move right now. Let's not get crazy. All right. We want to definitely replace this seal. Let me get a dental pick to make that a little easier. Let's give her a little rub down of some of the old oil to lube it up. That way it seals appropriately. Stick this on. I feel like that one's a little looser. Don't know if I like that, but I guess it compresses and seals when you plug it in. I'm gonna pour a little oil into this cup so it's not pulling dry when we go to crank it for the first time. I'm not telling you what to go with. I went with 5W40, Mobil 1 European car formula. The only reason I really chose the Mobil 1 European car formula was because I wanted a heavier weight oil for the hot summers and the tracking that I do to this car. A little heavier weight typically does good for the engine. It is fully synthetic. Let's pour a little into the filter housing. I'll definitely kick that over because I'm good at making messes. Being the shade tree mechanic that I am, don't do what I do. Use a torque wrench and torque it appropriately. Wipe off any excess oil. Maybe lingering. I try to change it every 3 or so. And yeah, before we get to bolting this stuff back up, we'll check on the other parts I have to install and then decide how we want to move forward. All right, let's see how many we got. Let's get some of these in there and get them started just to hold everything in place.
Then we'll come back, fill the rest in. I don't like how that just dangles. I don't know. I guess it's not dangling when the under tray is sitting under it, but whatever. Alrighty, make sure these are all aligned before you tighten anything up. Let's see. How come nothing's ever perfectly aligned? Doesn't make sense. There you go. Just gotta shimmy it. Shimmy it, as they say. I'm missing one. What do we think the other one is? Always good to save your bolts. Then you can replace ones that go missing. Alrighty. Let's get this pushed in and then we'll tighten everything up. So I had this great idea with this lift to get some butcher block as a runner in between because it's strong enough that I can stand on it and then I can mount benchtop vices and stuff to it and move them in and out of the way and use this whole lift as a workbench. However, I cut it ever so slightly. I didn't cut it short enough, let's say. And now it's wedged in place. And more frequently than not, a pain in my butt until I eventually move it and take it back out and cut it shorter. That's why I'm working in front of this piece of wood that's not doing me any favors. There we go. Now I just gotta fill her back up.
Okay, so I just got done refilling the oil. I went with 6 quarts. Obviously the oil cap's on the right-hand side of the motor, or passenger side of the motor. You do need some type of funnel that is flexible and or has the bend, which you can purchase online, or this flexible one came from an O'Reilly's Auto Parts locally. The interesting part of the Lotus, and I can only imagine this applies to Evoras, Emiras, I doubt all 2 GRs, is you can only get the filter in roughly 1 inch or less, probably 1/4 inch because of that grate. So it is a little funky. It does feel rather slow. But I didn't have any leaks or spillage trying to fill that up. I think the longer filter, or excuse me, the longer funnel helped kind of control the flow right there. I've already ran the motor a little bit just to circulate some oil, and now I'm going to check levels, ensure everything's right. And then we'll put the plastics back on, button her up, and ensure that that cover that fell down inside the engine bay is fully fastened. A lot of people who track these cars and the Evoras actually overfill by about 1/4 of a quart. I imagine it's due to things like blow-by and the G's placed on the engine. I doubt it has anything to do with oil burning. I should probably research that a little bit more, but for now, I'm just gonna go to the top of the fill line and call that a day. So let's put the cap back on. I have lost a few of these rubber pieces for the engine covers. I assume from pulling it out and it bringing the rubber with it and then falling off at some point and me not seeing it. But they weren't that expensive from the Lotus dealership. And I got them really quickly, so they are available if you drop yours. All right. Now it's this door that is the primary concern. So I don't want to lose it again, if I can help it. You know, maybe there's something wrong with my latch. This latch does look a little funny. If anyone sees this and wants to look at theirs, and let me know in the comments if this thing is meant to flip down, that'd be super helpful because it seems pretty firm, but obviously this fell in the engine bay, so it might have melted a little bit and now locked in place. I don't see a pin or anything that would make that movable. But it certainly doesn't click. Nice. I have a feeling that's going to fall in there again. I might leave this off, actually. That's frustrating. Oh. All right, well, I heard it click that time. So, feels pretty good. Cool. There you have it. Let's reset the service light and she'll be done. Okay, here's how you're gonna reset the service light in the Lotus Emira. First, we wanna make sure the car is in neutral so she doesn't hop on us. We're gonna press the ignition once, tapping it to get it into auxiliary or convenience mode. We then come over to the left-hand stalk and hold down reset. While we're holding it down, we wanna put our foot on the brake, press start one more time to crank the motor. And after about 10 seconds, you'll see the triangle start to flash on the screen. And within 4 seconds, so more or less immediately, we're gonna release reset and she should be good to go. So let's give it a shot. I've had equal numbers of success making this work as well as failures. So let's go. Now she's flashing and we'll release. And there you go. The service light has been all set. Hope that helps. Okay, so if you want to see if you actually reset the service light, what you're going to do is on the right-hand controls of your steering wheel, you're going to click the center of the 4 arrows to get it up to the screen showing here. And then with the up arrow, we're gonna scroll to what I'm just calling the vehicle dynamics, where your tire pressure is. You then use the right or left arrows to cycle through to obviously look at your warning messages, your tire pressures, and then your next service. So you'll see I've driven around since I've done the oil change and since the creation of this video, but it should reset to 10,000 miles or 360 days, I believe. If that looks right, then you're all set.